where do we leave off of? So last time we were looking at this, and we were trying to create an API on Express. There's definitely a lot of things that I need to look at, and one of the things is typing. I think that's where we left off. We left off typing, trying to type our objects because it's giving us some errors, and we definitely don't want that. So let's start off by finishing our typing our stuff. So how do we want this to be typed? So let's remember what we were trying to do. Okay, so what we're trying to say was a page has a record of objects. I think that's what we were trying to do. We're trying to set this into a list of data. So let's see. So what we want to do is we want to let's see. We were making some pages of data, and let me try to get my mind back into this because a lot of things happened. So this is our initialization, right? This is what our initial JSON is going to look like. And right now this just returns every single data. So we don't really want that. And this is our overall JSON. And all we want to do here is we want to, okay, I see. So we need to type whatever this is as well. Cause, okay, I see. So this is not where we want this to be just yet. We want is this. This is gonna be a record. So let me look it up. So I believe a record is like you can map like types to typing, types to types. So let me just look that up very quick. Okay. Yeah, so keys to a type. That's what it allows you to do. And I think that's what we want it to be. Or I could be wrong. Interface. So let's just see where we're gonna go with this. So we want it to be a string that maps to another object, which Okay, that's what a page is. So we actually want that to be here, right? Um, like it is, I guess. Not 100% sure. Let's do this slash and actually want to import something from typings, which we put in. Yeah, my import skills are pretty decent. All right. Yeah, sometimes you just forget what you're trying to do and you mess a lot of things up. I mean, I'm just trying to learn here, but let's just see if we can get this to work because I'm trying to import this from this. So, okay, so it's pathing from here. That's what it looks like. So now it's up here. Now we can probably type it. Okay, maybe. It's not a module. Cool. You might want to export something from here. Uh, let's Google how to export because I mean I'm not super familiar with Node to be honest. So let's see. I didn't remember. So we don't really want to use this type, or we want to use ES module export. ColumnJS export is cool and all, but it's not what we're looking for. The const is what we're looking for, right? So let's do const, and we just want to export. Is it named? I don't actually remember. Let's take a look again. Export const. Cool. Yeah, that looks pretty weird. Or maybe we don't even need const to be honest. We can just do this, right? We can export page and we can export power. And now it should not be giving an error. So we just say we wanted a PAL and we wanted a list of pages. Actually, yeah, we just want object here. Take that back. We don't want this. Okay. Let me think about what we're trying to do. We want a list of pages, which is what this is supposed to be. Oh, is it this? Yeah, it's like this. Okay. Unfortunately, it's saying that implicit element has any type because expression string can't be used to index. which is pretty confusing. Do we actually want this? Yeah, we do want this. So let's take a look at this. Right. Oh, it's because it's saying we don't know what this is, right? This should be a page. Okay, so now it should work. So that was just another typing error. Now we can need to fix this problem, which is pal's ID. Which, because we don't know what pal is, we just named it an object. And because of that, it's kind of different. So instead of doing that, right? Because we know it's going to be a record. But that should be what we were looking for. Right. Okay. So in theory, so let's go through this line by line. We pass in a pal, the original pals. We pass in this JSON, right? That's what we want to do. And then what we'll do is we first create list of pages. And then we're going to go through for every ID that's in the pal. Want to make one page, and then we want to go through the number of ID, and then we want to do this. But however, okay, so this needs to be a while loop because we want to loop through both of these at the same time. We don't want a nested for loop, right? Because this is just going to create a duplicate of the same pal over and over again, and we don't really want that. I wish there's a way to do that. So what we're gonna do is, let's see, because right now there's no way to increment ID in pounds because this is how our loop is going to go. We're gonna change this up. New while, and let's just change all this back. Let's just remove all of this and rewrite our logic. I want to say while, and we want a variable. All right, we want I and J. Well, it's numbers, so, and there we go. I'm gonna start with a 0. Right. And we want to say I is less than length. So we want the length of pages. Wait, no. Of the pals. Object. What was it? I already forgot the keys pals dot length. Right. I want to loop through this. And then what we want to do is while J is less than, because we're trying to split a record into pages. So we want the number of pages. Now, what do we want to do with this? So we first want to make a page. and that's going to be type page. But then we're gonna do page j is equal to pals, and then we want, however, we don't want this, right? Because we want to for loop through the keys of pals. So in theory, this is not what we're looking for. Ooh, this is kind of hard to work with, now that I think about it, because this is not going to give us what we want. Dang. Okay, there might be actually a library for me to split a dictionary into lists. So let's find that out. No. You know, that might be a terrible idea. Actually, we can just do this manually. But how will we do that, right? Because right now, this is this. What we actually need is all of the keys of okay, so let's do this. We want the keys of this, which we don't know what this returns. So this returns a string of lists. This is what we want, actually. So let's do let keys equals to this, and we just want. Now that should work. Now we can manipulate what we want. And actually, this could be a for loop instead, because this will change every single time. So we don't need this. We can just change this to a for loop. And then while we're in here, we also want to increment I. And then after that, we would want to do pages.push a page. So in theory, this could work. And then after that, we want to return pages. It's going to be pages of data. So technically, this isn't 100% correct, since this is technically the page that we return. Since this will be a page, we actually want to call this like page data or something. So this is kind of weird. Not gonna lie. So it might be better to call this page data. Because technically this JSON itself is a page. But I think that's gonna get pretty complicated. So let's not talk about that. So let's do this. In theory, we should have what we want looking for. Now, I guess there's one more problem, which is we need to set this variable. Right, so in theory, we do want a number. So let's do this. I want this to be a number. And this could just be... I don't think this is possible. Oh, okay, so this is possible, okay. And then... what happened to our tabbing? Our tabbing is kind of messed up. What? You see this? What is this? Okay, that was really weird. Unless my tab was completely wrong. Like this entire tab. But it's whatever. This number of records is equal to records. This way we can set a number of records per page. And we won't have to do some weird things to it. Now, there's one more thing that we're actually missing. So what if we get to the end, like it's not evenly split into pages? Then we might run into the out of bound indexing. So we definitely want to check for that too. So we want to check for this, and this is where incrementing I++ a bunch of times. We need to check for this and this. Now, I just realized we can just use this instead of here because we don't want to create this list every time we check this. So we can do this. And do this. So now we can check for both. And now it should, in theory, do what I think it should do. So we need to test this out, right? So we need a test file. So let's make a test file real quick. Test.ts. And we just want to import from Power Query. So we want to export Power Query. In fact, we should just probably default this since this is going to be the only thing that's there. So now we can do import. Let's do Power Query from Power Query. And we want to do this as well. I want to import this. And now we'll create a Power Query object. So let's Power Query equals Power Query. Power pass JSON because it wants take a look at what's going on here. Type of calculated. Oh, so to create a new object, you need to do this. My bad, my bad. And now we can do pal query dot so we actually, yeah, okay. I'm gonna do this first to see if it does what we want it to do. You need to test a bunch of times when you're creating weirdly wacky things like what I'm doing, because this looks really weird. So now if I run this, actually we don't need no on here. Let's just do this and create another PowerShell. Watch our changes so we can just run node dist and index.js. Oh, not what we're looking for here. Because that's pointing to index.js. We don't want that. Let's just do nomon source and test.ts. I think that should allow us to see what's in here. Yeah, 137 record, 1 page, total pages 14, which is not right because I guess we still need to change something, which is number of records per page. So by default, we actually want this to be the length of whatever is coming in. But so let's just do like 200. Because now this is more accurate, right? What you also want to do is call our function. So before we do this, we want to do let records equal, well, let's just do this dot JSON equals we want this to say it's this dot set records per pages right in the beginning. Okay, this is looking real weird. So let me clean this up because I can't tell what's going on here. So actually, let's run our debugger. So we need to set our launch our configuration for launch to see where it's going right now. So right now it's going to index.js, and we don't need that right now. We want src. Wait, no, this will always run into that because it's compiling into that. So that's not going to work. And it's not that we can run node. We can do ts node, can't we? TS node. Whoops. There we go. Now we don't have to watch this every 2 minutes. So we want to see why it's doing this. We are not able to see what's inside of these objects. It's just saying object. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like happening. I don't think that that's supposed to happen. Right. It's not like bugging out or anything. I can't see what's in these objects, which is not what we want. Also, this behavior is wrong. Because if you look, it's supposed to be a list of this, but it's not doing what I think I'm wanting it to do. So we need to figure that out. So let's again, we have pages, we have keys, and we're looping through our keys. We're creating a page, and a page is just a string. Oh, a string to it. It shouldn't be a string. I believe it should be a number. It should be a number to. Hey, am I doing this wrong? I'm really confused. What am I even doing? Man, I need to step back and think. Cause this is making no sense to me, even though I wrote the code. Not a good look. I think I stepped way to this way too early. It's even confusing me. Cause okay, so what we really want, right? Let's look at this again. We want a list of all pages, right? That's what this level is. And then a page is going to have um all the data is in it. Yeah, that's right, that's right. And that's just a ID to a pal. That's what we had it going for. Right. And of course you can't see anything because pal is this. However, this is not what I was looking for. For some reason. Oh, I see what I did wrong. I'm setting it to here. Right, but I need it to be just here. I don't know what I was thinking. Because all I wanted was to put in some pals. And a pal is just a string to pal. And that's what this is. So that's not a pal, that's this a record. And let's check this. At least it's closer to what I was looking for, right? However, I still can't see what's in this object. And it could be because I typed it like this. But if I type it to any, what will happen? Will I still see my object, or will it not tell me what's in here? I guess it won't tell me what's in here. Because it just knows that it's an object. So let's see why it's saying that. I want to print the object for debugging purposes. I tried doing that. That's all it's showing me is an object. Oh, that's not what we're looking for. Right, we want to see what's in there, but right now it is not not exactly what we're looking for. And this isn't even in JSON yet. So what we actually want is I'm gonna call this result, just so it's more that makes sense, so that it makes more sense, right? I just want to see what's in here, but it's not telling me what's in here. And one more thing that I probably want is what page we're on, right? Otherwise, it's not going to give me what I want. So we want current page. Because right now it's doing this. And okay, so we want current page. We want this to be equal to 1. We can just get rid of this entirely. It doesn't seem like it wants me to do that, so. Oh. My bad. Oh, I realized I'm using 2 different type of naming convention. And that's not exactly good. So I'm just super used to Python naming convention. So I'm probably gonna just change this to, or should I? I'm not 100% sure if I should do this way or the other way, but that's not too important. And then we can do should I do that? Not do that. Let's just do it like this. So, okay, now we run this again. Should give us a clear answer. Well, we got undefined. Cool. But this isn't not what we wanted. We want to store this into page data, which is going to be whatever this returns. And we need this to initialize to something, I assume. I guess we just next it to empty list. Actually, we don't need to do that. We can just call our function. So we can do this dot page data equals this dot set record pages. Not pal or pals. We have our page data. And that should be what we're trying to look for. Still giving us undefined. Oh, I guess it should be 0. Should be this -1. That's our another problem. There you go. Okay, so now we can see more of what we wanted. I think this is exactly what we wanted. So now we have our pagination. Our current pages, everything looks like it's working. But this is pretty terrible in terms of what it's doing. It's really hard to read. Right. I definitely need to document this. But let's focus on our features so we don't get bogged up in all this. The next thing we want is this. We want to type this so that we know what's in there. Right. So let's try doing that. We want typing for pretty much everything here. Okay, let's just get pagination done first. So this will allow us to set record per page. And we can get a page out of this. want a get command. So set page, right? We want to set page to something. So I'm gonna do page number. So I guess it'll make sense to say set page number. Right, I think that makes more sense. Set, or you can say set current page, but set page number makes more set current page number. Okay, so I guess we should. Okay, I don't like the fact that I'm mixing up this and that, and it's really throwing me off. Man, half the fight is really just good naming convention. I should probably replace all instances of this to be that. How do I edit it? Oh, whoops. I think it's Control D. It should allow us to change all of them at the same time. Records per page. And that should work. Current page. We want this to be as like descriptive as possible so we know what's going on. Total records. We're just gonna keep the camel casing. I know I'm pretty fickle with this. That way, you know, we have a consistent naming convention and we don't have to do this all the time. What we want is a page number, which is a number. And all we're gonna do is current page is equal to page number. So we have that, we have this. Also want set limit, that we only return a limited amount. And we can do this. How do we do that though? So to set limit, actually, we don't even have that much data, so I don't know if we even need a limit. But if we did need a limit, we would just limit the page data? No. I don't think we need a limit just yet. I think everything else we got is pretty good. Because we have a current page, right? I might be tripping. Probably am tripping. Let's just not worry about limits yet. Let's check out if we can set to different amount of pages. So if we do query dot and actually I realized this is not what we're wanting. So instead of this, right, what we want to do is instead we don't actually want this to return anything. We just want to say this dot page data is equal to pages. Because this doesn't make any real sense, to be honest. So instead, we just want to call this so initially this will just be empty string, empty list, which is pretty terrible. Not a good idea, but could introduce some bugs, but since we're guaranteed to call this anyway, it's not going to matter. This should run like what we think it should, and we can just do set page records. Am I doing this right? Because now I'm thinking about it. Do we even need this? I don't think we need this. Since we're just going to pass it in to our constructor anyway. But this is real confusing. Because we don't want to pass in itself again. We just want to be able to set records per page. So this is really, really confusing. So instead, I think we can do is put this backwards. Or just ignore it altogether, really. Actually, just remove it entirely. And instead, we'll make a pals data right into this. So this will be our original data. Which will be pals. We don't know what this is going to be, so we're just going to leave it as an object. Pals equal to pals. Actually, do know what it's going to be. It's going to be this. And we can just do this pals. Something like this. This way, we only have to pass in it once, and it should work. Because now what we have to do is this has to be called first every single time. Otherwise, it will mess up because it's going to start from scratch. Right. No, now that I realize, does that even make sense? Yeah. This has to be called last, didn't it? because we're gonna be manipulating the pals. Yeah, this has to be called last. Because we are going to be manipulating this PAL structure, PAL's data. So yeah. Let's try this out. Let's do one page. And we also probably want get results. And we also want to private probably most of these data. Which, because we don't want anybody to change this. Right. It's through external means. But let's just see if we can get our desired result right now. Okay, look at that. So right now there's no bugs. So let's set this to 10 and see if we can get only 10, the first 10. Yeah, we're on page 10, total pages, oh, total pages is wrong. Okay, I'm gonna fix that. Okay, so every time we do that, we need to reset total pages. I wanna change the, I see duplicate code, so I don't want that to happen. So we're gonna change this to this. But anyway, we want to, every time we do this, we also want to update the total pages. So okay. So let's deal with that right now. Total pages. Just give me a number. Actually, to get the total number of pages, we can just look at the length of page data. So in theory, we don't even need this. Like this. So oh, is it not doing what I wanted to do? Oh, I see. Result isn't changing every time we're doing this. We need to change our result. So let's do this. We want get result, which is what we're looking for. And all we want to do is return this. So we don't even need result at all, do we? We should be calculating it every single time. We can probably get rid of result. We can get rid of numpals. Do we even need numpals? In fact, because we're doing limit, it might not even matter all that much. All right, so we need to get the total number of records. And how are we going to do that? Right. We can try to calculate it by getting. We'll have to go through every single loop. I think I can get it. It would be. Okay, it will be this dot current page. Wait, no. Because right now we don't have a way to use limit, right? We don't have a way to set limit. And we need to be able to like always calculate that limit. But for now, we're just gonna calculate it based off of the length of pals, which is gonna be this. It's not gonna be like ideal for now, but you know, we're just gonna have to do it like this for now. And now we should be able to do what we want. We also need to get rid of this. Yeah, here we go. It should give us the first 10 item. Is Anubis really 0? Is it not 1? Let's look at JSON. Yeah, because right now, this is not correct. Anubis is, I don't think Anubis is. Huh. I see a problem right now. If you can see, their ID isn't correct. In fact, it's completely wrong. So this is probably having to do with this. Because we're using numbers for this instead of you know, the ID of the actual PAL. So we can try to change that actually. So what is a page again? A page is a string. Let's try this. This should give us a more closer result. Yeah, there we go. starting at 100, 101, 102, 104. Yeah, the only big problem right now is this is not sorted. As you can probably see, this is not sorted. Because if you look on our pals.json, you can see that number 1 is supposed to be Lamball. I don't know why we're starting at 100. It's kind of weird. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's set it back. So instead of 10, set back to 1. And let's just see what it says. Oh, my bad, my bad. Not do 1. Let's just not even set it. I have a feeling I know why this is happening. Yeah, so this is already in order. Pretty much. So I think the real reason that it's happening is because I'm using object.keys. And I think that's returning an unsorted thing, right? I think that's the actual problem. So let's do this. Let's print out keys and we can see what's going on here. Yeah, it's not sorted. So we want to sort this initially. I'm not going to use compare function just yet. So yeah, there you go. Now it should be what we're looking for. So now it should give us our intended result. Though, yeah, that should be fine. So now when we do this, we'll now get a sorted list. Ooh, okay, it's not sorted how I expect it to be sorted because it's missing 100. It's missing a few entries. I don't see 100. I don't see Anubis anywhere here. Oh, we're on page. Okay. So now we can also do page query dot get set current page to 2. And now we can see Anubis or the the higher numbers. Yeah, there we go. I think we got everything we needed. There is no error checking though, so if I try to set this to be bigger than whatever our page is, it's gonna be really weird. So let's try to error check this. So instead of this, we want to do is min. What a min function. Page number between page number and like this. This is probably what we want. That way you cannot set it higher than this. We also want this to not be lower as well. So we want to squeeze this between a min and a max function. Because it cannot be between less than 1. That way you cannot go below 1. One page. It's the same. It should also be the same for setting the number of pages. We can just put a math.min function or a max function, right? So it cannot go below. Cannot go below 0, or cannot go below 0. Yeah, it can be negative. It can't be at 0 either. So if you run this one more time, yeah, we have the basics right now, and with this we can go to our index, and we can not worry about this just yet. We can just start by initializing. We can probably get rid of this too. We want to import from, I can't remember where this goes. Model. Yeah, model. We want pal period. We just want to initialize pal query. So let pal query equals pal. I'm going to pass in our JSON, which is pal's JSON. And we're going to say new, and we just want to return pal query.getResults. So if we do node1 verse index and we bring up Postman, right? And we can send this, and we will get data, and we can also get pagination. And the next thing we want is to add query. So what do we want to call our query? Because we want to be able to set, our current function right now is to set page number. Okay, I think, and we also want records per page. Right? So let's do this. Pal query dot set. Oh, so we only do this if it exists. So if request dot query dot, say, page exists, right? If this exists, and I forgot this is not Python. So if this exists, then we want to do Power Query dot set current page to request dot page. Right. And we want to convert this into an integer. So how do I convert this to an integer? Well, so we can probably find that out on Google. Convert string to number. Parse int. Is it number dot parse base 10 string and a radix, which I probably don't really need a radix, but what is it saying? Parse QS is not assigned with a string. What does that mean exactly? Converts a string to an integer. Is this not? Oh, whoops. Argument of type string is not assignable to parameters. Oh, this is not guaranteed to be a string. What the heck is a parse queues string array in a part of what? So how do you sign this? Let's do something like this. Page. And instead, as no, we're just gonna say it's gonna guarantee be string. If we also want to see if we want to set number of pages per record. I mean number of records per pages. Records per page. So we can say that records. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, we can just, yeah, you know what, I don't care. If number of records per page, query dot records. I think we just want to be discreet about it. we want to set the current page to known records per page. And we want to parse this. We probably don't even need num. We can just say records per page. Oh, that's exactly what we put. So in theory, if we now send records per page and we say we want, let's say, I don't know, 10 records per page, and we send this, we should get, that's not what we should be getting. Because right now it's still getting me total pages of and it's also not giving me what I want. So something is going wrong here. I must be doing something wrong here. Oh, I'm stupid. It should be set records per page. That was my problem. So let me actually get rid of this. And you can see that it's still not sorted if I don't do anything. So we need to figure out why it's not sorted. Even though I'm calling this button and I'm sorting this key. Let's just look, right? It says we're on page 1 and what our current page is. Version. It's sort of at the beginning for some none reason. I don't know why, but because it shouldn't. I don't know why. Isn't 0 shouldn't 0 be above 1? I mean, yeah, right? So why is it when it's sorted? This appears in the front, but I'm just getting confused. But if we do activate this, it gives me exactly what I want. Right. If we look, we have 1 page, 14 pages, and we're on page 1. And then we can set page to whatever we want. So we want page 11. And we're on page 11. That's pagination. Pretty cool. So this is pretty cool so far. We have pretty much everything we need. And another thing that I want to do is I want to be able to get straight to this point by path param, right? So we want something like this. Um, um, like this, right? Do you see this? We want to be able to get our data one pal based on the param, based on the path param, which should allow us to do something like this. Oh, whoops. My bad. Like that. And with this, we can just return pals JSON. We can do request dot params dot id. And in theory, right, if we just let's make a new request. Let's name this request slash pals. And we want to make another request. And it's going to be similar. But instead, we want to put an ID. And this could be 0. Oh. Maybe that didn't work like I thought it was going to. Nope. Must have done something wrong. Okay, we need to find our error. Is it because of our ordering? That could be it. No, that's not the reason. So that does lead me to be confused. Really confusing. Not sure. Oh, I'm not sending my response. I'm really confused myself. This does not need to return anything. Well, let's try that again. Sometimes you make mistakes. I always make mistakes. There we go. Now, problem is you can see that I'm typing in 001 instead of, instead of what I'm looking for. And I don't want that to always happen because if I put like even like this, it probably is going to crash and give me something stupid. Yeah, that's what I thought. So we don't want to type in the exact thing every single time. So we need to parse this, right? So that doesn't happen every time. But let me be right back as I think about the next step. Alright, I'm back. So to do this, right, to fix this problem, where we have to write, the entire number, the entire key, we want to remove all trailing left zeros, and let's see if there's a way to do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to, manually do this. See if there's a way. Seems like there is a replace regular expression, which is actually pretty cool. So we don't actually want to remove, right? We want to pad whatever with zeros. Or maybe we want to remove it from the key. I think that makes more sense if we just remove it from our key. Because if you look at our JSON, right? I don't think we want 001. That indicates that there's only gonna be like up to 999 or 1000. There can only be 1000 mons or pals. But at the same time, I don't know how that works. Maybe on a PALDEX, it's written like that. If that is the case, then there's no point of removing it. So let's look at PALDEX. Or PALDEC. I don't know, I keep calling it PALDEX. This is an ID just like that. Because if that is the case, then there's really no point of removing. I think we can just pad zeros to the left. I think that's our goal. So let's do that. So we want to know the of what we're looking for. So first, let's just start with this. For I equals 0, I less than. Okay, so it's the length of. Let's do this. Length of length of the ID, right? Length of ID should be a maximum of 3. So max ID length should be 3. So if it's less than that, we want to pad it. So we want to pad it with zeros. Let's do pals. Let's do this. Dot length plus plus. And we just want to pad our thing. So let's actually do this. Let ID equals and oops, let's do this. I'm gonna say let the length, right, should be equal to because we're doing this because the length is going to change while in the for loop, and we don't want that, right? That's going to be really weird. Or actually, we don't even need to do this. We can just use a while loop. So that makes more sense, actually. We can do while id.length is less than 3. If we just do this, we can just pad whatever we want, right? So we want to do is id dot is it possible to concat? Let's see how you left concat. Or we don't need a left concat. You just do this. ID equals this plus ID. In fact, we might even be able to. No, this be fine. This be fine. So if we start this, it should still give me lambda. But if we put in a... Oh, look, it's already working. So now it's always getting padded with 0. And this is just exactly what we wanted. We can get rid of all of this. And we can also just get rid of these two because it's cleaner. We also do want an error though. So if it doesn't exist, we do want to return an error. So let's try. And then catch. Let me look up the syntax for this. So we can catch a exception. So we can just do something like try this. It seems like it has to be wrapped in braces. Try to send this, and if it fails, I want to catch the error. And we can just res dot then is it error? Is there an error function? Let's take a look. Express an error. Well, I mean, I could use send, but that doesn't seem. I was thinking how error handling is supposed to work in Express. Okay, throw error. Oh, Express would catch it on its own. If error. So do we not need to Okay, so if throws error, we next. Seems like Express can catch it for you if we put in the next function. If that is true, then let's test it out. If not, then I'm not sure. Because that's what it looks like. So right now it should be fine. And if I throw in a value that doesn't exist, it's not giving me any response, which isn't what I want. Oh, it's giving me undefined. This isn't an error at all. And because of that, it's not sending me a real error. Else, so we want to make our own error. If not, then we just want to throw error no wait, is that really how it works? There's no way, because we want a 404 path, right? We want to send a 404 status. So this doesn't make any sense. So let's try this again. This doesn't make actual sense though. Yeah, I don't think we want this to work like this. Instead, we want to send error. And we want to give it a status. Is it possible to send a status? Res.status.send. Okay, res.status. Send. Status. Let's do 404.send. Error. But how would you identify what this error is? It's the unknown right now. Right, that's another problem. So and like in theory, that doesn't really make sense either. So I think instead, I think we just use next error for here. And instead of throwing this error, we just manually send this ourselves. But if we do that, you know, it's not gonna give us the right thing. I'm really confused. So how do we catch this error? Right, we don't know what this error is. Let's take a look at our documentation to see if we can catch specific errors. Because not, then then we're just gonna do it manually, which is kind of awkward. Yeah, we might just have to do this manually because there's no way to identify what error is what error. I don't see any way to catch specific errors in the catch scope. So because of that, the simplest way is to not rely on throwing an error and instead just say res dot status 44 dot send new ID not found, and we can just return right after that, so we don't have to deal with this. I assume that's how it works, and we also want this so we don't mess that up. So if we now try to send again, it gives us error 44 not found, ID not found. Okay, we got our basic feature. And I think we are out of time for today. So let me make sure how much time we have left, because I actually don't think that we can go any further for today. If for next time, we'll continue working on this querying, because we want to be able to query based on certain features like size, HP, stamina, whatever that's in here. We want to be able to query these things, and especially by name. That's definitely something we want. Right? So because of that, we want to learn how to use the query language that we installed last episode. Was a JMES path. We think we're gonna try to use that because that's gonna be pretty useful. But for now, I think this is our stopping point. And yeah, let's just stop here and hopefully you guys have a good weekend or have a good day at the very least. All right then.